Hello and welcome to Did You Know Gaming Extra. Today we'll be exploring dishonesty in the gaming industry. It would be impossible to do an episode about video game related lies without looking at Peter Molyneux. Whilst Molyneux is known for lying as a marketing strategy, enough for it to become a gaming meme, his lies aren't always to customers. Molyneux entered the software industry in the 1980s, creating database software for use by businesses alongside Les Edgar. However, with the increase in video game production following the release of the Amiga home computer, the duo wanted to tap into the gaming market. Their first break into video games came after a friend made Druid 2 for the Atari ST. Needing to find a team that could port to the Amiga, Edgar and Molyneux became interested, even though they had no experience with game development. Edgar told Now Gamer about how the two managed to land this debut gig. "We lied about our abilities and got the project. Although we didn't make any money from this, we learnt how to move sprites on the screen and develop our own basic routines for animation. Turns out that games are just a big database. That was handy." And from there, Bullfrog was born. The company had continued success and was acquired by gaming giant EA in 1995. Bullfrog ultimately closed its doors in 2001 after much of the team was shuffled into other areas of EA. When it comes to retro titles, there's a common belief that the games on consoles like the NES are extremely difficult, and many players point the blame at how these games punish failure. NES games often featured elements such as very limited lives and continues which were carried over from the arcade games. This would push the player back to the start of the game, tempting players to pay more and outdo their previous efforts. One title which is considered by many to be particularly difficult is the original Ninja Gaiden. Upon the loss of a life, the player is sent back to the beginning of the stage. This wasn't the original idea for the game, however. Hideo Yoshizawa, the game's director and writer, actually intended for players to respawn in the middle of a stage after they die. This feature was left out because one of the game's programmers simply lied to Yoshizawa about coding it in. The game's difficulty wasn't just frustrating to players, but even the development team. Artist and writer Masato Kato stated, "The game's difficulty was too hard, even for the development team. So during the bug checking process, team members were basically crying whilst trying to get through the game." One NES game tried to lure potential buyers in with a cash prize for beating it. This title is Action 52, a compilation cartridge notorious for being a poorly programmed and all-round awful game. Although the title's name makes reference to the 52 different games found on the cart, it's possible that the game would have been originally called Action 60. Evidence in the game's code suggests that there were another 8 games to be found on the cart. But this isn't why we're talking about Action 52. The game's creators, Active Enterprises, planned a cash draw for North American players who were able to complete level 8 of the game Ooze. The full prize was $52,000 cash as well as a $52,000 scholarship. The only catch with this contest was that, due to the game's poor programming, it is known to be impossible to actually progress past a certain point of Ooze where the game will lock up. As a result, the contest had no winner. However, a congratulations screen can still be found within the game's code. The only way of accessing this screen is through checking the game's data or using a cheat device. The team would have known that accessing this screen was impossible during the prize period, which was advertised to help sell the title. Lucky for Active Enterprises, this advertisement caused little controversy due to people being more upset with the state of the game itself and its $200 price tag. And now it's time for this episode's random piece of trivia. Today we're talking about one highly regarded PlayStation title, Wipeout. Despite this high regard, the game received poor publicity from a promotional poster released in the UK. Because the game's music struck a chord with the UK clubbing scene, the poster featured British DJ Sarah Cox. However, she was depicted with an excessively bloody nose reminiscent of an overdose. At the time of this poster's release, illegal drug use, such as ecstasy, was considered an incredibly dangerous element to the UK club culture. This led to many politicians claiming that the large E within the Wipeout logo was in fact a direct reference to ecstasy. That's all for today, but let us know your thoughts on any of the trivia we covered in the comments below. We know you're not shy about that. If you like the video, then kapow, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed, then kapow, why not hit the subscribe button too? We're pretty cool, you're pretty cool. Let's all move on with our lives, or just on to the next video.